Okay, so this is my college. Bhagavad Gita, culmination of science and spirituality. Okay, this is Mahatma Gandhi. Everybody knows. It's there behind our Bhagavad Gita. He's praising Bhagavad Gita. He was a politician, quite influential, we all know, and he praised Bhagavad Gita. This is one Western pacifist politician, Huxley. Everybody knows him. He's famous. He said, the first line is very important. Bhagavad Gita is the most systematic statement of spiritual evolution. He's a Western person. He's not Indian. So initially I presented Mahatma Gandhi, but you might say he's a biased. He's Indian, definitely like Bhagavad Gita. That's why I put this slide. He's a Western guy. He's a philosopher. He's a pacifist, humanist. And you know, the quality of Western people is, quality or maybe fault is, they doubt everything now. It's doubt. And that's good. And according to him is, Gita is most systematic statement of spiritual evolution. It's systematic according to him. It made sense to him. And spiritual evolution, it's not religion according to him. He didn't find it sectarian. At least he. Then we have two spiritual people from India, Aurobindo and Shankaracharya. They are like famous people. Aurobindo is yogi, Shankaracharya is, everybody knows. They praised Bhagavad Gita. And then we have Thoreau and Humboldt. This first quotation is right there behind the Bhagavad Gita. He was a big philosopher. And then Humboldt, he was a Prussian philosopher. He said, the most beautiful, perhaps the only true philosophical song existing in any known tongue is Bhagavad Gita. These people, you can imagine, these people are not kids. They are philosophers. They have read epistemology, ontology, everything, all other religious system. And when they are speaking something, it has to have some value. But the question is not that they are praising Bhagavad Gita. The question is why they are praising Bhagavad Gita. What is there in these books? What is there in Bhagavad Gita? But before that, this was a German physician hired by East India Company. At that time he came to India and he was influenced. He's a scientist. So not only politicians, philosophers, yogis, spiritualists, scientists are influenced by Bhagavad Gita. Not only people, but scriptures themselves glorify Bhagavad Gita. All scriptures. For example, Vaishnava Tantrasar, it is a part of scriptures. They said by Lord Shiva to Parvati. And in America you have so many yoga clubs, you know. You can just go them and tell them, see, Lord Shiva says, if you don't hear Bhagavad Gita, you're fit to be loved by a child. You're all hot yoga, cold yoga, whatever, you know. What goes on. That's stupid, you know. Because I was a physician, allopathic, but I also did Ayurvedic, homeopathy, naturopathy. So I did all of those. And it is very stupid. It is said in yoga scriptures, Ayurveda, if you do yoga and if you find even one drop of sweat, stop it. You're not supposed to do further. And this is like hot yoga. like fools, you know, they're speculating, that's all. They don't know the science of Gita. They're fit to be laughed at even by a child. And then, okay, fine. These are quotations from various other scriptures. Varha Puran, Skanda Puran. The point I'm trying to show you is that all scriptures are praising Bhagavad Gita. There is no scripture which will not praise Bhagavad Gita and yet be called as complete. No, it doesn't happen like that. And then Padma Puran, Agni Puran, Mahabharat, Harivamsh Puran. It goes on. Especially Agni Puran has so many chapters devoted to glorification of Bhagavad Gita. Garud Puran has glorification, Brahman Puran, Brahma Puran, Narad Puran. You take any. You open the index, there will be Gita there. If you don't want to read anything, just see the index. And this is nice. So the question is, why so many scriptures and people praise Bhagavad Gita? But before that, we have to deal with these two questions. Is Gita a religious book? Is Gita a mythological book? Because even if we praise Bhagavad Gita and if you take it as mythological, it's a myth, then what's the point of praising, no? So first we have to deal with these two questions. Is it a religious book, sectarian book, or a mythological book? And then we'll come to our main question. Why so many people are praising Bhagavad Gita? What is so unique? Okay, what's the answer of this first question? Is Gita a religious book? What's the answer? Yes? No? No. Any other answers? Can just...
It's a very practical book.
So it's not a religious book, really?
No. It's a religious book.
Yeah, it's talking about God. So what do you say?
It's the real Dharma, the real religion book. The original Dharma.
It becomes a little more confusing. Now then you have to explain what's real. It becomes more ambiguous than clear. Oh yeah, Shiva.
I have something, it's not a mythological book.
No. Is it a religious book or not? First question. I'm talking about first question. Okay, so the answer is, it is both religious and philosophy. Prabhupada said. Religion without philosophy is sentiment, sometimes fanaticism, sometimes terrorism. That's what it can go to. And philosophy without religion is mental speculation. But this quote I found by Hermann Hesse. He was a German Swiss poet. It's quite famous. He said, the marvel of Bhagavad Gita is its truly revelation of life's wisdom, which enables philosophy to blossom into religion. Bhagavad Gita gives a philosophical basis to religion, a rational foundation to religion. That's what Bhagavad Gita is doing. Christianity, Islam do not do that. They don't do that. It's just religion. In fact, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Buddhism has no philosophy at all, of course. It doesn't have philosophy, first of all. So philosophy came later. So after when Ashoka came, Nagarjuna came, they were in need of philosophy. They concocted some philosophy. Chinese religion, Tao and Tao, they have some kind of philosophical basis, but it's more of morals. It's not philosophy. Zen religion, it's more of Buddhism and Tao mixed. Shinto, Japanese religion, it's more of ritualistic things. So there is no book, no religion, which is giving philosophical basis to religion, and that's unique to Bhagavad Gita. It is culmination of philosophy and religion. And when you culminate philosophy and religion, it becomes science. That is why I put the name of the seminar, Culmination of Science and Spirituality. Okay, so it's not a religion, it's not philosophy, it is both. It is synthesis of philosophy and religion. And this is nice. Bhagavad Gita defines philosophy. 6th chapter, 21 verse. Yam laudva chaparam labham manyate na adhikam tata. Krishna is genius, first of all. We all accept, no? We all accept. You know why he's genius? Can anybody tell why he's genius?
He's God.
He's got that, anyway. That's not an answer. He's genius because he's God. He's God, that's why he's genius. So it's not a good logic. Okay, why is genius?
He's a sarvagna. He knows everything.
This is answer or this is question? You have to then explain what sarvagna.
Out of all 6 opulence, Bhagwan.
No, that's okay. I'm just asking why he's genius. So my question is, why he's genius? Your answer is something else.
He hits the nail on the head.
He's a
Like,
that might
he
be
gets into the
to the point.
to the point.
Okay, good. This might be the answer. Anything else? This is okay.
I was thinking because
That's okay.
he's enjoying the spiritual world and everything else is happening at the same time.
Okay, fine. You're thinking that. Oh, fine. That way you can tell.
You can look for the answer from what is a genius.
Yeah. First you have to define what's a genius. Then you can tell how Krishna is genius. Okay, fine. You got that point. So how do you define a genius? Okay, let's deal that question. Who is a genius? So? What? What?
Narendra Modi.
No. He's a genius. So anyway, we are watching too much politics. Huh? Okay, genius, it is defined in scriptures. It is defined in Patanjali Sutra. It's a grammar, Sanskrit grammar. It defines genius is a person, alp shabdam, analp artham. That means a person who speaks less words, but deep meaning, more meaning. He's a genius, no? If you have to know anybody, he's a fool or a genius, it's by words, no? A fool is a genius until he speaks, no? That's the point. So, by words. So, how is words? Genius, when he speaks, less words, but more meaning. Fool, more words, no meaning. Just keep on speaking. Is it? That's a fool. And Krishna is genius. Now, if this definition we study Bhagavad Gita, now we can know Krishna is genius, because Krishna is speaking very less words, but very deep meaning. He has compressed all scriptures in 700 verses. All scriptures, all knowledge, whatever is there in Vedas, everywhere, that's found in Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada writes in introduction. So he's a genius. And when genius speaks, his ideas are applicable, his ideas are universal, they are not sectarian. That's a genius, no? He can satisfy all type of audiences. A fool can, okay, I can speak to him, but I can't explain him. So Krishna, when he speaks, he is giving definitions in Bhagavad Gita which are universal. That is why all people appreciate Bhagavad Gita, no? And that's the example I'm giving here, about his geniusness. The definition of philosophy. If you take any philosopher, Schopenhauer, Nietzsche, Kierkegaard, these are American people. Or maybe German philosophers, French philosophers, any philosopher. And you ask definition of philosophy, what's the definition of philosophy? Philosophy, love for knowledge. That's philosophy. Phila means knowledge. Sophy means love. But the point is, they miss the point. Krishna defines philosophy as upon gaining which there is no greater gain. According to Krishna, any philosophy, if it doesn't lead to satisfaction, what's the point of that philosophy, no? Is there any point of that philosophy? You can make a big structure of that philosophy. Anything you can name it as solipsism, dualism, whatever you name it as, epiphenomenalism, whatever. But if it doesn't lead to satisfaction, what's the use of that philosophy? This is very good definition. That's why Krishna says, real philosophy is that which gives the result upon gaining which there is no other greater gain. So, if you follow philosophy in your life, if following that philosophy you think, fine, I am satisfied, contented, I don't need anything else. That is a supreme philosophy, and that is why for us Krishna consciousness is supreme philosophy. That's how we came to conclusion, this is supreme philosophy, because after attaining Krishna consciousness we thought this is end. The end to our life. There's no other search. And this is a universal definition. Do you agree? It's not a sectarian definition, is it? You can tell to Christian, Muslim, Hinduism, any philosopher, everybody will accept. And less words, more meaning. You see, Krishna is genius. We are impressed by him, no? We are all impressed by him. Yeah. We like him. But we have to show to people. We have to show to people how he is genius. That's our job. We are not supposed to tell people he is genius, but how? So that they also get impressed. That's our service to him. Okay, how does Krishna define religion? Okay, quiz for you in Bhagavad Gita. And this is tricky, no, to define religion, because as soon as you talk about religion, sectarian. But remember, Krishna is genius. How does he define? In Gita. You have read Gita?
I am reading it.
Okay.
This is my guess. I think he took it very deeply in his heart.
Oh.
Like that.
Okay, good. I want a little more, some specific.
If one develops his love for God.
Okay, but I mean to say, if you bring God, then people might say, then you go into some other question, metaphysical questions, God, and what is love. Then you need more explanations. Then that's not a genius. You need something concrete. Nobody can question. Finished.
Following dharma?
Following, then what is dharma? That's a big topic. These are okay, but what Krishna is talking Gita. Gita is for everybody. Universal definitions. Only Krishna can do that. Answers are correct. According to Gita, that's my answer. Okay, fine. It's nice to hear what Krishna says. So Krishna defines. Now this definition is universal. You will see what's the definition. This is definition of religion. Swabhav adhyatma uchyate. Changing one's nature is called religion. Beautiful definition. Any religious system, if you follow, if it doesn't change your nature, your habits, that's not religion. That's a mockery. What you are doing? That's rituals, no? The life of true religion is it'll change you, change your nature, and finally it'll bring you to your constitutional nature, whatever it is. Nobody can question this definition of religion. Nobody. And that's why less words, 3 words, or maybe 2 words. That's Swabhav Adhyatma. That's all. Swabhav, actually 1 word. Krishna defines religion as Swabhav, nature. That's all. Finish. Yeah, Gita is excellent. So that's why Prabhupada said, if you know Gita, you can argue with anybody. Prabhupada said, you can argue with anybody. Maybe he might be a big philosopher, a big scholar, whatever. You can do that. So that's what is Bhagavad Gita. Okay, fine. So we discussed Gita is not a religious book. Okay, fine. These are examples. It's not a religious book. And that statement, it is the most systematic, that philosopher told, more systematic evolution, more systematic statement in spiritual evolution. It's nice, it's systematic, defined. Krishna doesn't keep it abstract. Okay, next question. But before that, I just got that point. But something happened in history that people lost the philosophical basis of Gita, and Hindus started taking Gita as a religious book. Now people think it is a religious book. Why? What happened? This was a history. Many Greek philosophers, ambassadors, they came to India. So these 2 universities, Takshila and Nalanda, these were like famous universities back in Bihar and in Pakistan area. And this was a center of all knowledge at that time. Many Greeks used to come, they used to study there. And then we all know Indian history. Mughals came, Sultan came, all raids, invasions. They took all knowledge from these 2 universities. They burned these universities. They took all the books to the Middle East, and they translated them into Arabic language. And when it was Dark Ages, Dark Ages in Europe, it was golden period in Islamic world. At the time of Prophet Muhammad, everybody knows. And there was science and maths, and it was supposed to be coming from Islam. How? Because it took all these books, were translated into Arabic languages, and it came. And then we know Crusades. Crusades, everybody knows? Yeah, in West everybody knows. So there was a fight between Christians and Islam. Then they took all books from Arabic countries, and they translated into Hebrew and Greek or whatever. This is in 15th, 16th century. And 17th century, what happened?
Industrial.
Okay, fine. Any other thing? 17th century, Enlightenment. You know that? Suddenly they got light. From where? From stolen books. Not from their own head. That was the point. This Newton and they were all cheaters. That's all. Sorry to say that. You know why? So it's not because he was not intelligent. To take knowledge, it's not bad, but not to give credit to somebody, to our Vedic books, that is not good. So that's anyway science. So rational basis, it got destroyed. Hindus were left with nothing more than a book. Everything went to Europe and whatever they went. And people forgot, and people started taking Gita as a Hindu mythological or whatever book. And that's why it became a religious book. Okay, fine. That question we solved. What about next question? Is Gita a mythological book? What's the answer for that?
No.
Of course no. Yeah, of course no. How do you prove that? I want evidence. Prabhupada said this is science. Science, we need evidence for that.
Kurukshetra.
Okay, fine, yeah.
Parampara.
Parampara is parampara is not, parampara is evidence, yeah, but it's not a objective, like real hardcore evidence. So this is evidence, it's not a myth. This is a person from Chennai, TKV Rajan. He's an archaeologist. He is doing some research in Kurukshetra. I met him also, and he did some research in Kurukshetra, and he found this. You can see these arrows and spheres. Can you see from there? Arrows and spheres, and it's a habit of archaeologists to date everything, and he dated, and he found the age 5,000 years old. So we have evidence that there was a battle in Kurukshetra, and we have records. So there was a battle, there was a discourse. So Gita is not a mythological book, it's fact. And there's one more evidence, Dwarka. Everybody knows this. He just passed away, Dr. S.R. Rao. And he found this is modern Dwarka. In the sea, he did some excavations, and he found this. This is the wall of Dwarka, under the sea. And it is said in Mahabharata that after Krishna leaves, there will be flood. Dwarka will be flooded. And he found the evidence. There is Dwarka. And these are stones. And these stones, according to archaeologists, this is like, what do we say that? For ships, anchor. This is like anchor. So Krishna was doing export-import. He was doing. He was a king, he was definitely doing. And then they found seals there, which have imprints of Krishna and Balram there. People used to carry that, like we have passports, they used to carry that. So it's not a mythology, it's a historical fact. Krishna was there, Dwarka, Kurukshetra was there. So Gita has to be there. So it's not a mythological book. Okay, fine. We argued for both these questions. It's not religious book only. It is not mythological book. Now we come to our main question. What is so unique in Bhagavad Gita? Why so many scriptures and people praise Bhagavad Gita? Okay, so the first point for that is Bhagavad Gita is a law book. Okay, before going to this, you know what? For us, Bhagavad Gita is not a book, first of all. For us, Bhagavad Gita is Krishna himself. And for us, the chapters of Bhagavad Gita are not chapters. They are the progressive stages of realizations. So some people are at first chapter still. Some people are second chapter. Some people sixth. Some people probably 18th. It's difficult to go till 18th. But they are realizations, progressive stages. And the verses of Bhagavad Gita are not verses. They are the mind of God, mind of Krishna. When we read Bhagavad Gita, every verse, we approach with the attitude that we are entering the mind of Krishna. He's revealing his mind. He's so merciful. I think like this. And you got to know. If you want to serve me, you got to know how I think. So that is our approach to Bhagavad Gita. And Prabhupada says it's a law book. But what do we mean by law book? That's the question. Can anybody tell what do we mean by law book?
Do's and do not, rules to follow.
Really? So, but if you go by do's and do not, then Dharma Shastras have more do's and do not than Bhagavad Gita. It's like full of do's and do not. Bhagavad Gita is not so much full of do's and do not. It's not there. So why does Prabhupada call law book? Why is law
It's
book?
the code, it's the basis. Like, law
Yeah,
is the basis.
maybe you
not
can-
how everything else functions.
Maybe you're something near, but you need to clarify. More precise.
So it
More
describes
precise.
the consequences of our actions.
Okay. So why do you call it law book? You can call it as some other book. Consequences of actions, maybe something.
I mean, law.
Predictive book, statistical book or something.
So I
By
mean,
law
if you
book.
take if you actually take the law book, that's based on the law of the country. That's how the whole structure.
Yeah, that's
countries
okay. That's okay.
run.
But I didn't get my answer. What's the point?
It's the ultimate authority.
Yeah. That's what I'm asking. What do you mean by ultimate authority? That's my question. That's okay. Perfect. You see, this is explained by Vallabhacharya. He explains, what do we mean by law book? So he explains, we have two types of scriptures. Nirnaya Shastra and Updesh Shastra. Decisive scriptures and informative scriptures. So what do we have in scriptures? Rig, Ved, Yajur, Sam, Atharv. We have 18 Puranas. We have 108 Upanishads. What are with us now? They're more than that. We have Pancharatra, Ramayana, Mahabharata, so many things. But the point is, all these scriptures give information. But Gita gives decision. That's why it is called law book. Law gives decision. So, if you read all scriptures, if you don't have Gita, you can have information, but you'll come to no conclusion, no decision. You'll get more confused. So Gita gives decision. Okay, this is this. Like this. For example, that is why it is said by Vallabhacharya. If you read all scriptures and if you ever become confused, read Gita. Gita will give you conclusions. That is when any traditional school, any teacher, if you ask him, if you go to him to read scriptures, he will first teach you Gita. Because first got to know decision, conclusions, otherwise you'll become confused. Like for example, in scripture it is said, female is illusion. It's said there, female is Maya. And it is also said, yatra naristve pujante, devta tatra ramante, female should be worshipped. So what is correct? What do we do? It's there in scriptures. What do you do? So Gita gives decision. So if you read 16th chapter, Krishna is giving decision. Okay, fine. Both are correct. For a renounced person, he has to perceive her as an illusion. But for a householder, she is an object of worship. And then it harmonizes to large extent. So like that, decision, that's why it's called law book. I'll give you one example from Bhagavad Gita itself. This is 18.3, 18.5. Krishna says, some learned men declare that all kinds of fruitive activity should be given up as faulty. Yet other sages maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity and penance should never be abandoned. There's a confusion. Should we go and go to mountains? In India, so many yogis, Nagababas, they are sitting in mountains. So many people say, no, you should remain in society, sacrifice, charity, penance should be done. Krishna says, no. My decision is acts of sacrifice, charity, penance are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, penance purify even the great souls. This is nice. This might seem a very simple verse to you all, but when you read scriptures, it's a big problem in scriptures. Whether to renounce or not renounce, whether to do sacrifice. So you go to Kashi, you go to Banaras, you ask any Karmkandi. For them, without sacrifice, they can't even breathe. Sacrifice is everything. You go to Himalayas, you go to yogis and Nagababas, renounced people, for them sacrifice are useless. So it's a big fight there. People fight in Kumbh Mela. They kill each other. And Krishna is giving decision. This is a beautiful verse. And this verse everybody knows. Anyway, this is famous. By all Vedas I am to be known. I am the compiler of Vedanta. I am the knower of Vedas. This is decision. What else is this? So we call Gita's law book because it is a decisive book. It is a Nirnaya Shastra. That's our idea. This is why Bhagavad Gita is. This is the first uniqueness of Bhagavad Gita. And that is why we are fanatic after Bhagavad Gita, because we all need decisions in life, no? At every moment, we need to decide. It's not important to have more knowledge. It's more important to process that knowledge, no? You might have hard disk, you might have everything, but if you don't have CPU, it's junk. So you need to. That's why Bhagavad Gita is important. Okay. Second importance is, I told you about genius, less letters, more meaning. So the question is, how does Krishna compress so much knowledge into 700 verses? How does he do that? I told you, genius is more letters or less letters and more meaning. But how does Krishna achieve that? Got my question? Now what's he doing in Bhagavad Gita? Like for example, Rig Ved has around 3 crore mantras. Rig Ved, 3 crore verses. If we keep on reading continuously, still we will not even finish it, what to understand it. And that is 3 crore verses. What Vedas we have now, we just have 11 branches of Rig Ved with us, and total there are 1100 branches, shakhas. It's lost, and there are 3 crore, and then in Mahabharata we have 1 lakh verses. Bhagavatam we have 18,000. Padma Puran we have 25,000. Agni Puran we have 23,000. If you combine everything, it's like 4-5 crore verses. What do you do with that? And Krishna compresses all those verses in 18 chapter and just 700 verses. No human can achieve that. So people ask us, how do you prove Krishna is God? People ask us, no? Maybe some. Well, so one thing you can do, you can give some verse evidences for that. Okay, Rig Ved says he's God, but actually you don't need any evidence. You just tell him, read Gita. And if you read it properly, after reading it, you will yourself conclude this is not a work of any human. It's not possible. It has to be some divinely intervention, or it has to be done by God. It's not possible. So it is not necessary to know evidences. Just by reading Gita, we can understand Krishna is God. That's beauty of Krishna's. But how does Krishna do that? We know these terms, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik, Adi Devik. Actually, in our books, Prabhupada uses these words as Adi Bhautik miseries, Adi Devik and Adhyatmik. You are aware? Like 3 kind of miseries. But there is another interpretation for these 3 words. Adi Bhautik means scientific, Adhyatmik means spiritual, Adi Devik means godly. Krishna, in one verse, he has put three levels of meaning in one verse, minimum. And Madhvacharya, he says, every verse of Bhagavad Gita can be understood in 1,000 ways. There are 1,000 meanings to one verse of Bhagavad Gita. You can imagine. Who can do? Human can do that? No, impossible, no. This God, this Krishna is God. You don't need, there's no confusion. Shiva is God, Ganesha is God, Durga is God. No, nobody has done this kind of work. Only Krishna has done, and only he can do, and that's why he came. Otherwise, you would have asked Lord Shiva, Lord Ganesh, okay, you speak Gita, but it was beyond the scope. Nobody could do it. So, I'll give you the example for this. There are 1,000 levels, but anyway, that we can't even discuss. And it's not there. But at least, okay, we'll take an example where one verse is having 3 levels of 3 levels. By one word, Krishna is saying 3 things. That's the idea. That is God, no? By one task, he accomplishes. By one activity, he accomplishes many tasks. That is the nature of Krishna. Krishna likes to do that. He doesn't want to waste his time, no? So just like Lord Rama, he shot his arrow. When Sugriv asked Ram, okay, you show your power, whether you can kill Bali or not. So then we had 7 trees. Lord Ram shot arrow, and one arrow he shot all 7 trees. And then that arrow went to Patal Lok, and it killed all demons. And then that arrow went to heavenly planets, and it blessed the demigods. And then that arrow went to one desert area. It killed all the people, sinful people. And then it came to Ram. So one activity but many tasks. This is God. So that's his habit. So habits die hard, no? Krishna can't get rid of his habit. So he always does like that. So he does in Gita. He compresses. Okay, this is a verse. I give generally this verse as example. Okay, let's first see. So everybody recognizes this verse, by the way? It's simple. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sata, ubhyor api drishtvantas tu anya sattvadarshibhi. Simple verse. Well, I'll tell you. The first let us see spiritual meaning. Okay, first let us see scientific meaning for this. You know what? In Sanskrit, asat means what does not exist. Asat, what does not exist. Simple. Sat, satte, asat means false, does not exist. And bhavo means what exists. You seeing this verse, everybody? So if you put na here in bhavo, it becomes what does not exist can never exist. You getting my point, everybody? Any confusions? No confusions. What does not exist can never exist. And sata means exist. And na bhava means which always exist. Which can never exist. Always exist. The point is, what does not exist will never exist. What exists will always continue to exist. What is this law? Everybody knows. Law of conservation of energy. The energy is neither created nor destroyed. Energy, whatever is amount of energy is there, it is always there. What is not there, you can't increase it, you can't decrease it. It is fixed amount in the universe. So, who gave this law? Newton or Krishna? I presented this seminar in Michigan University, Ann Arbor, and they were like, Michigan University. They were like students, and also in Alabama University. And I asked them, who Newton discovered or Krishna discovered? They were like, they were happy. And after this seminar, so we had Westerners there, people, and all these kids, they were asking for Gita. Give us Gita. We want to read Gita. Where's Gita? It was nice. Oh, Hare Krishna. Sorry, this is bad. From my phone, it's happening. Can you just close it, Prabhu? Just turn it off. Okay, so this is the scientific meaning. Okay, so what is the spiritual meaning? It's simple. Spiritual meaning is, now Sanskrit, every word has many meanings. That's how by one verse you can get many meanings to that. Spiritual meaning is, so asat also means temporary. And sat means permanent. So Krishna says what is temporary can never be permanent. Na bhavo. Bhavo means permanent. And what is permanent can never become temporary. So that means soul is always permanent. It can never become temporary. Body is always temporary. It can never become permanent. There is soul and body. Prabhupada takes this translation. This is spiritual meaning. Got my point? But there is some godly meaning also. Every verse of Bhagavad Gita has Radha Krishna there. Every verse. Every verse of Bhagavad Gita is all pastimes of Krishna. All pastimes. And this is there in commentaries of Acharyas. So Vallabhacharya's grandson, and his name is Purushottam Acharya, he writes a commentary to Bhagavad Gita, and he shows how Krishna can never forget Vrindavan. He can never forget Srimati Radharani. So, while he is speaking these verses, he is instructing and simultaneously also remembering Vrindavan. He is God, he can do that, no? And that is why, I think there was some controversy when Prabhupada established, so he established deities in Delhi, Radha Parthsarthi established. And his god brothers were criticizing, how with Parthsarthi there is Radha. You understand Parthsarthi? So they don't have Radha in battlefield. But Prabhupada said they are fools. They don't know Bhagavad Gita. Krishna can never forget Radha, and that is the evidence is here. And how it is here, I'll show you. Now you have to just see carefully. Asat also means Sat means truth. Asat means false. Asat in Sanskrit also means separated. Separation. Asat. You have two things. Sat means union. Satte. If you say, I achieved truth, I united with God, no? People say like that. Sat means union. Asat means separation. So Krishna is thinking about his gopis. When Krishna did Ras Leela, there were some gopis who could not make to Ras Leela, they were separated, some came. So Krishna is saying, I have two gopis when I did Ras Leela, some were separated, some were united with me. Those who were separated were always separated with me for that particular time because that Ras Leela didn't occur for one day. It occurred for, we know, it occurred for maybe millenniums, no, many days of Brahma. So those who were separated were separated. Those who were united were always united with me. Now the point is, Krishna says, Ubhayor api drishto antas. Ubhayor means both. Anybody who knows the signs, both these gopis, separation and union, anybody who understands the concept of separation and union, anyos tattva darshivi, he knows what is tattva. He understands what is truth. This is Mahaprabhu. Separation and union. So, Krishna never forgets his pastimes. Every verse of Bhagavad Gita there is pastimes. So, if you read that, anyway, I don't think so that commentary is translated into English and will not be in near future. But if you come to a college, we'll teach. That will be a good idea. It's beautiful. If you read Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is talking about trees of Vrindavan. Krishna is talking about dust of Vrindavan in all these verses. 7th chapter, if you read entire verse, Krishna is talking about his flute. If you go in Sanskrit. And then it's beautiful. Krishna can never forget Vrindavan. So you see, one verse you have scientific meaning, spiritual meaning, godly meaning. At least 3. And there are 1,000 meanings. Like, you can't imagine. So Madhvacharya, he didn't reveal 1,000 levels. But he revealed 5 more levels. There are 5, at least 8 levels revealed to us for every verse of Bhagavad Gita. And it is there. I've just told 3. Okay, so this is uniqueness of Bhagavad Gita. Third uniqueness is Bhagavad Gita has complete knowledge. Now, complete knowledge means both phenomenal and numinous. Phenomenal means material knowledge. Numinous means spiritual. So Prabhupada says Bhagavad Gita has both spiritual material knowledge. Is it poetry? How can Bhagavad Gita has material knowledge? No. Science, metallurgy, physics, chemistry, where is there in Bhagavad Gita? Some scientists can laugh at us, no? Is Krishna just saying, oh, my Bhagavad Gita is everything? This poetry, you can say like that. You everything to me, of course. So, but Krishna doesn't like to talk. What he speaks, he means that. And I'll show you how he means that. It is having complete knowledge. Complete means complete, literally complete. Gita is having science. Okay, this is the definition of science, by the way. We read in our schools, we read in our school, science means observation. Then, okay, some quiz for you. What does science mean? Observation. You forget science, huh? Yeah, we forget science if you don't read. Observation, hypothesis, experimentation, theory. Francis Baconian method. But now science is changing. Because many things you can't observe. What do you do with that? Electrons you can't observe. Genes you can't observe. Strings definitely you can't observe, and even in near future you will not be able to observe it because that's mathematical entity. So what do? So they were forced to change the definition of science. You got my point? So modern scientists, they came up with a definition. Science means cause and effect. If you see an effect, you find a cause. If you find the cause, you predict the effect. That's science. And that's what Krishna had been saying 5,000 years ago. Science means cause and effect. Vedanta Sutra means science. Cause and effect. Krishna gives definition of science. Science means cause and effect. 5,000 years back, Krishna defined science in Bhagavad Gita. Gita has philosophy. Entire philosophy is there in Bhagavad Gita. In modern philosophy, we have 3 philosophers: Descartes, Wittgenstein, and Thomas Kuhn. I don't know. Is there any philosopher? Okay, fine. So anyway, you might have read about Descartes. Everybody? He was a French. Wittgenstein. These 3 philosophers. Okay, fine. To make you understand, let me tell you. These 3 philosophers were actually acharya of philosophy, like that. They brought revolution in philosophy. And René Descartes gave the concept of decision. He gave the concept of definition. Thomas Kuhn gave the concept of distinction. And it is right there in Bhagavad Gita. First 6 chapters talk about decision. Karma yoga means decision. Karma means what to do, what not to do. Second 7 to 12 chapters talk about definition. Krishna redefines the words. For many people, charity means giving clothes. For us, charity means anything you give to people which is linked to God. That is charity. Without linking to God, we don't give charity, no? So we don't give food, we give prasad. So Krishna is redefining the terms for us. For yogis, austerity means no eating, no sleeping. But for us, austerity means taking risks in the service of Krishna. You see, so Bhakti Yoga can also be understood as redefining the terms. 7 to 12 chapters talking about definition. And 13 to 18 chapters talking about distinction. Jnana Yoga, what is right, what is wrong, good and evil, demoniac and divine. And that's here in Bhagavad Gita. 5,000 years back, Krishna is talking about entire philosophy. You don't need to really, even if you don't understand, no problem. But my point is, it's there in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is genius, that's my point. I can show you this. If you meet any philosopher, and if you tell this to him, he'll definitely go flat in front of you, definitely, because he will know, this guy, he knows stuff, he knows what is philosophy. This is a summary of philosophy, okay. Psychology is there in Bhagavad Gita, I'll not go into details. This is one verse of Bhagavad Gita, 18:14. Every word of this verse will lead to one branch of psychology. We have at least 5 branches of psychology now. Social psychology, development psychology, reflex behaviorism, subconscious phenomena by Freud. Krishna summarizes entire branch in one word. Adhishthanam can lead to this. I'm not going to details how this word leads to this. Daivam in Sanskrit means subconscious phenomena. Freud introduced subconscious mind. 8 super 8 subconscious. It was there in Bhagavad Gita. Daivam means destiny. Daivam means super soul. Daivam means subconscious. Krishna said. Okay, medicine is there. This is beautiful because I am a doctor. This, yeah. If you show this verse to any doctor, to any allopathic doctor, he will not believe you. What is medicine? He'll just laugh. But if you show this verse to any Ayurvedic, any naturotherapist, he will say this is perfect definition of medicine. You know why? Because Krishna defines medicine means balance. Balance. If you're eating, sleeping, everything is balanced. That's the true medicine because you don't become diseased. You got my point? Balance doesn't treat. Balance doesn't cure. It makes you healthy. There's a difference between treatment and making you healthy. Medicines may treat you, but they don't make you healthy. But balance will not, first of all, lead to any diseases. It will make you healthy. So health means balance. And Krishna knows. That is why he defines medicine as balance. This is a work of genius. Nobody can come up with this definition if he doesn't know what he's talking about. You have to know. You say you go to any Ayurvedic doctor. If you want to impress him, just quote this verse. Tell Ayurveda means balance. He will say, okay, fine. Have you done some PhD in Ayurveda or what? Really? I presented this seminar in LA Temple. And there was some, so devotees were there, and there was one devotee who was by profession Ayurvedic doctor, and he came to me and he was saying, "My God, Bhagavad Gita is excellent. I never knew Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is defining medicine as balance. This is what is Ayurveda all about." He could understand this. Okay, and Gita has morals and laws. Social norms, civil laws, personal conduct, it's all in 16th chapter. I'm going to details, but everything is there in Bhagavad Gita. And finally, Bhagavad Gita has virtue, knowledge and happiness. This is what is life, no? Virtue, good behavior, morals. We need knowledge, we need happiness. This is what is life. So Krishna speaks about virtue, karma yoga, happiness, bhakti yoga, knowledge, jnana yoga, and then Krishna synthesizes them and helps us to understand whatever happiness you attain in life, whatever knowledge, whatever virtues, use them to develop love for me. That is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. He is synthesizing all these things and giving us a goal of life, upon attaining which there is nothing else to be attained. That is love of God. This is Bhagavad Gita. And this is why Krishna himself is glorifying his own Gita. You can imagine? If author glorifies his own book, it amounts to bragging, He's bragging himself. Who glorifies his own book and writes in his book? Krishna is not writing. It's the best book, king of all knowledge. It's like stupidity. If anybody is a writer, he'll say, what is this? But you know why Krishna is doing this? Because Krishna can't resist glorifying his own book. He knows what he's giving to humanity. And Krishna wants to impress us. If I am glorifying Gita, how much this book should be important for us, no? And this is Bhagavad Gita for us. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Okay. Any questions? Any comments? I'll just finish it here.
Bhagavad Gita can be proven as not a myth, history, because of it saying that it took place in Kurukshetra and that
Yeah.
Kurukshetra established it as a battle. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But the book itself, does it also have a...
Yeah, book. Okay, fine. You're talking about book?
yeah, does the book...
Okay, fine. Yeah, book itself is not a myth because, you can argue book might be changed, in between 5,000 years gap. But you can't do that because many commentators are writing commentary on that book. So writing commentaries is a system of explaining the text and also preserving the text. So Sridhar Swami, he's 4,000, 4,000, 5,000 years back. He wrote a commentary. And then afterwards Madhvacharya 2,000 years back, 1,000 years back, and then Madhva, Ramanuja, all those commentators are writing commentary, and in commentary they are taking every word and explaining. So you can't change the text. Otherwise you have to change all commentaries. That's not possible. That is why we know that the text is not changed.
So even modern literary, type of, I don't know what to call those type of people who do studies on literature will have to say that Bhagavad Gita is 5,000 years old. They can't deny that because what I've heard,
Yeah, they can't deny. No, they can't deny.
books are not that old.
No, latest analysis, they keep on changing. So previously, according to them, Upanishads and Gita were around 6th century BC. So when there was so it's technically called axial age. But now everything is changed. Everything is changed. They have gone back to 4,500, near 5,000 years. They have come there. Modern dating and everything.
So wouldn't that be maybe something
Everybody's gone.
makes it stronger is to show how the Bhagavad Gita is actually also accepted as an ancient text.
Yeah, it's accepted. It's accepted.
So, what it says is historical, and the book itself
Yeah, it's there.
is valid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Hmm?
Because that's something people will argue about.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
For the book.
Yes, so it's there. So you can tell like that. By the way, can I just